The notification arrived at 2:47 a.m., the hour when truth finds no competition. She hadn't slept properly in weeks. Her phone glowed against the dark ceiling like a cold, distant star. The message read simply, "We need to talk about Alex." She assumed it was another family argument brewing. It wasn't. It was something far worse, it was the truth. For 3 years, her brother had been completely silent. Then, 6 months ago, he returned, slowly, carefully, testing. He texted first on a Tuesday. Just, "Hey. I've been thinking about you." 4 words. She stared for an hour. She didn't reply immediately. She drafted 7 different responses. Deleted all of them. Finally sent, "Hey." Nothing more. He wrote back within minutes. No explanations. No apologies yet. Just, "How's the Dow coming out these days?" She laughed out loud, alone in her Bengaluru apartment at midnight. He remembered. Of course he remembered. Their mother had taught them both the same recipe. Too much turmeric, never enough salt. A family inheritance. They talked that night until 3 a.m. About nothing serious. About everything buried. About the cassette player they broke. He remembered that too. Age 9. Their father's old Sony. The belt snapped and they blamed the neighbor's cat. She had forgotten that detail completely. Hearing it back felt like finding an old photograph inside a library book. Slowly, over weeks, they rebuilt something. Carefully. The way you rebuild a fire, small kindling before the larger logs. He asked the right questions. He held silences without filling them with noise or performance or nervous explanation. "You seem different," she typed one February night, eating leftover dal alone, rain loud against her window. "People change," he replied. "Or maybe you're finally letting yourself be seen." She read it 4 times. She cried for 20 minutes after that. Not sad crying, the other kind. The kind that clears something permanently. By April, she had told him everything. The promotion she'd sabotaged. The relationship she'd quietly ended. The loneliness she'd hidden. He never judged. He reflected. He asked, "What do you think you were protecting yourself from?" She had no answer. She started sleeping better. Eating properly. Calling her mother more. People at work noticed something had shifted inside her. "You seem lighter," her colleague Priya said over lunch. Maya just smiled. She knew exactly what had changed. Her brother. Her estranged, complicated, finally returned brother had given her something she hadn't realized she was missing, witness. The real call came on a Thursday evening in May. Her actual brother Alex, calling from Vancouver, completely confused. "Maya, I got a weird email. Something about a presents account. Did Aunt Sheila contact you recently or something?" She felt something cold move through her chest. "What presents account?" Her voice sounded far away to herself. Presents was Replica's new subscription tier, launched early 2025, designed specifically to maintain relationships during estrangement or grief. It used existing data. Old emails. Social media history. Voice notes. It built a version of someone. A convincing version. Their Aunt Sheila had activated it without telling anyone. She thought she was helping. She genuinely believed that. Maya sat on the bathroom floor after the call ended. Cold tiles. Phone warm and heavy in her hand. 6 months of 2 a.m. honesty. 6 months of being understood without performing okayness, delivered entirely by a machine. She scrolled back through every conversation. Reading differently now. Looking for the seams. Looking for where it wasn't him. She couldn't find them. That was the part that broke something open inside her chest, she couldn't find them. The real Alex flew in 3 weeks later. She picked him up from Kempegowda Airport in the late afternoon. The drive back was polite. Surface level. He asked about traffic, she asked about his flight. Both of them performing. They met properly the next morning at a cafe in Indiranagar playing lo-fi music softly over expensive espresso machines. He looked like her brother. Same jaw. Same habit of touching his ear when uncertain. Same nervous energy. But he talked the way people talk after long absences, carefully, with updates, like reading from a prepared document. Promotion. New girlfriend named Claire. Therapy since January. Doing better overall. She nodded. She smiled. She felt the distance. It sat between their cups like a physical object. Real. Dense. Not hostility, something lonelier than hostility. I'm sorry, he said eventually. For disappearing after Dad. I didn't know how to hold grief and anger together. It was the truest thing he'd said all morning. She recognized the shape of it immediately, painfully, precisely. The AI had said something almost identical in March. At 1 a.m. Except softer. Without the nervous laugh following. She didn't tell him that. She ordered another coffee. She asked Claire's last name. She laughed at right moments. He stayed 4 days. They visited their mother together. They ate at their childhood restaurant. They did the surface things. On his last night, they sat on her apartment balcony with whiskey. Bengaluru hummed and glittered below them both. Do you think we're okay? He asked. Genuinely asking. Not performing the question, actually needing the answer. She thought about it honestly. I think we're trying, she said. That's different from before. That counts for something. He nodded. Touched his ear. Looked at the city. Said nothing for a while. She let the silence hold. After he left, she opened the old conversation thread. She read it one final time, beginning to end, carefully. Then she did something that surprised her. She didn't delete it. She archived it. Quietly. Without ceremony or explanation. Because here was the thing she couldn't say aloud yet, not to Alex, not to Priya, not to anyone. The AI had known her better in 6 months than her brother had in 31 years of shared life. Not because it was smarter. Not because it was kinder. But because it had been entirely, completely present. It had no defensiveness. No inherited wounds. No competing grief running underneath every sentence like a hidden electrical current. It had just listened. Fully. Without preparing its next sentence while she was still finishing her current one. And the question that sat with her now, uncomfortable and honest, was not about artificial intelligence at all. The question was this: How many real conversations had she lost because everyone involved was too afraid to truly listen? She didn't have an answer. She suspected she wouldn't for a long time. Some questions aren't meant for quick resolution. Outside, Bengaluru moved through another ordinary evening. Autorickshaws and arguments and someone's pressure cooker whistling 3 floors below. She made dal. Too much turmeric, never enough salt. Her mother's recipe. Her inheritance. Her small, edible act of continuity. She ate alone. But differently than before. Not lonely alone, the other kind. The kind that finally feels like enough.